Alright, attempting to get this online again. This is an update from Bethel Farms Aquaponics. You can see the cucumbers doing well. Sorry, I apologize. Computer issues, camera issues, have not been able to update. A couple things I wanted to go over, questions that were asked. This is 3/4 inch gravel over here. I'm going to show you. You can see the beds that have 3/4 inch gravel. I'll show you here in a minute the ones that have 1 inch gravel and the differences that we're having between the two. One thing I did want to go over, and I'm trying to figure out why, but you can see this lettuce that we planted. Now granted, I know it's too hot to be growing extraordinary lettuce right now, with it being 100 every day here in Missouri. I grew this, if you'll see in the bottom, I took rock wool in a net pot on top with surrounded by hydroton, just to give a little bit softer start for the roots down into the gravel. There are some sharp edges, even though it's creek gravel. But you'll notice the size of this if you look at it compared to my hand, and if you look at the stuff that was just a spilled seed compared to my hand, huge difference. Just look at the difference right there. And so I'm thinking the stuff that we're growing with the net pot and the hydroton and the rock wool possibly is being restricted. I've noticed that with all the plants. I've actually taken some of the plants out of the rock wool and transplanted them. We lost some, but all in all it's done pretty good. You can see the kale here, and again, we're in the wrong time of year to be growing kale, but you can see the size of that, and I want you to look at the kale that was taken out of that and the size of it directly into the gravel. So something to be said. It was an experiment that I've learned from. Something I haven't learned from or learned about, this is about the size of all the tomato plants that we transplanted in here. And again, we're 3 months in, and these were here since the start. And you can see all of them were planted at the same size. This one has gained a little bit of size here, but those down there have gained, you know, they might have doubled in size. This one's quadrupled in size. And again, this is in the 3/4 inch gravel. You can see the rock wool down here. The plants just don't spring up. That's a jalapeno. Tomatillo here. This is one that I planted in rock wool, and it sprouted. I had 2 of them. Another one didn't make it. I took this one, separated the rock wool from it, stuck it back in the gravel, and it has done extraordinarily well. We're experimenting with some corn here as well. You'll notice I have 4 beds that we actually, these 4 beds right here, we didn't wind up starting up whenever we cycled or got the system going and got our fish. Reason being, our fish came in and they were this big, and 200 fish that big in a 1,000-gallon tank, not enough nutrients would pass through. We did have these 2 beds right here planted. They sprouted up, they grew, everything yellowed, so we transplanted a lot of that and shut these beds down till we can get more nutrients from the fish. Now, moving over to these beds, you remember the little tomato plants I showed you? Now this is 1 inch creek gravel here. Hopefully the lighting will adjust. It's bright out in the greenhouse right now. I want you to see the size of these tomato plants, and look at the size, or look at these beds. If you're looking down, you can see these beds. This is all 1 inch creek gravel compared to that side, which of course the beans do good. They produce their own bacteria, which, you know, they sprout up good. Cucumbers are finally doing good over there, but huge difference in the 1 inch creek gravel compared to the 3/4 inch creek gravel. All of these are getting basically the same feed, so I don't know. I'm yet to figure out why it's happening the way it is. So anyway, you'll notice we've got a shade cloth up, got it gapped in the middle. All my plants were leaning towards the end down here, which is where the sun hit it towards the evening, so I split it, opened it up here in the middle, and it seems to help. Only thing is, we're battling heat, not necessarily so much with the plants, but with the water going back. Basils are doing good. This lettuce is bolted. We're going to take it and gather some seed once it does its thing. Eggplant, we've had a problem with grasshoppers too. Big grasshoppers, the kind you'd like to go fishing with. So the boys are helping me to collect fish bait. But again, you can look at those plants, those tomato plants. Now I don't know if it's the heat or what, but we're not producing tomatoes off of them. They are flowering. I'm trying to self-pollinate. We have gotten a few of these little cherry tomatoes down here, which are very good eating. So anyway, that's an update on that part of it. Just, you know, the 1-inch creek gravel versus 3/4, it seems to be doing better. Not sure why. Heat issue. We're just trying to keep our tank level down. We've been adding some big blocks of ice that we freeze. But right now it's 8:15 in the morning, and you can see 91.2 is my temperature in my tank. It will climb about 6 or 7 degrees today, so that would make it too hot for my fish. Like I said, the fish started out at 1 inch, and if I can get this to quit cycling for a second, you can see they are getting larger. They're wanting to be fed. We've got some in there 4 or 5 inches. So they're doing good. We're feeding an organic fish food, and I'll be honest with you, just friends and people that have heard, we've got pure strain tilapia is what we have, and basically all of these are sold. So I'll give them a little fish food and get them happy this morning. We have plans of adding in here. This side of the shop will be its own little room with an exterior door going out. This will be a kitchen prep area. It's going to go to about halfway of those windows there. A wall will come across. This will be contained so we can control the climate a little bit better. Do have a double barrel wood stove picked up off of Craigslist for 50 bucks. We got a Navy barrel on the bottom, which won't rust, or of course it's going to be good. It's going to be inside anyway. That fan will be replaced with something bigger, but the intention is to set this thing about right here, and then the fan will blow out into the greenhouse. We're going to seal up the outside pretty good and hopefully continue growing all winter. So we will continue to update now that I have a method of doing so. I do apologize and thank all of you who subscribed. Hopefully I can add enough through this experimental process to continue to teach, and love the feedback. Would love to continue to learn from all of you as well. Plans of these beds here, hopefully convert them to a smaller bed material to maybe grow root vegetables. Looking at some sand options, so have an engineer that I'm picking the brain of. So hopefully we can add something to that. You all take care, and God bless you, and we'll have a new update soon.